So another leader in the total quality movement is Armand Feigenbaum. And he breaks down his definition of quality costs into two broad categories. He's got the costs of control and the costs of failure of control. So on the side of costs of control, he breaks that further down into prevention costs. And prevention costs are incurred to prevent or avoid quality problems. These costs are associated with the design, implementation, and maintenance of the quality management system. They are planned and incurred before actual operation, and they could include things like product or service requirements, that's establishment of specifications for incoming materials or processes or finished products and services. It could be quality planning, that's the creation of quality control plans for your quality and reliability for operations, production, and for inspection. The quality assurance, which is, he defines it as the creation and maintenance of the quality system itself, and training. So development, preparation, and maintenance of these various training programs. The second costs of control are evaluation costs. And these are associated with measuring and monitoring activities related to quality. So these costs are associated with the suppliers and customers' evaluation of purchased materials, processes, products, and services to ensure that they conform to specifications. So they could include things like verification, that's checking of incoming material, process setup, checking products against agreed specifications, quality audits, confirmation basically that your quality system is functioning correctly, supplier rating, assessing and approval of suppliers' products and services. The second category here is the costs of failure of control, and he breaks that down into two subcategories here. Internal failure costs. These are incurred to remedy defects discovered before the product or service is delivered to the customer. So they could include things like waste, which is really performance of unnecessary work as a result of errors, poor organization, or communication. It could be scrap, defective product or material that cannot be reworked, used, or sold again. It could be rework or rectification of these issues. And it could be failure analysis. That's the activity required to establish the causes of these internal failures. And the second subcategory here is external failure costs. And these are costs that are incurred to remedy defects that are discovered by the customers, not by you, but by the customers. And they could include things like repairs and servicing of both return products and maybe those in the field, warranty claims of failed products, maybe they have to be replaced, or services that have to be reperformed. Maybe you have to do something with the heat treating again under some guarantee. Complaints, so all of the work and the costs associated with handling and servicing customers' complaints, and of course the returns, handling, and investigation of rejected or recalled products, including transportation costs. So really Feigenbaum, in his mind, he says the total quality cost or total cost of your quality is really the sum of all of the costs of control plus all of the costs of failure of control. So just a quick example here of Apple. If you had the pleasure of having an iPhone 4, which came out in June of 2010, there's a good example of, I guess, cost of quality. If you remember the controversy around that, the cell phone would predictably drop calls when you place your hand in a certain position. Basically, if you held it in your left hand, like the picture in the lower left shows. So when you hold it in your left hand and that bottom left corner of the iPhone is kind of tucked in a little nook of your thumb and in your hand, that's where the antenna was. So if you held it that way, the call would drop every time. And there's many videos people showing this, what's happening. So Steve Jobs, his reaction to this was kind of not the greatest customer relations, but he said, don't hold it that way. So, don't hold it in your left hand. You're supposed to hold it in your right hand, like the diagram shows. So obviously that's not a really great reaction to this quality problem. So ultimately this recall of the iPhone 4s cost Apple anywhere from 130 to over $500 million, and it's pretty secretive of what their actual costs were.